There we go. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Dave Rolfe, and welcome to Aligning with Success, typically hosted by Michael DiMuccio and Dave Rolfe. And Michael's off tonight, and I'm going to be the host and your master of ceremonies for what we're going to cover tonight. So, first off, I'd like to welcome anybody that's new to the call. It's nice to have you on our call, and we've been doing this. We do this every Monday night, and it's along with the Balanced Life, Happy Life program that's held Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, with the option of Thursday night by appointment only. And the whole focus of tonight's presentation is simply we do this on a monthly basis. So at the beginning of the month, we set a goal. The second week, we tweak the goal. The third week, we get really close to the goal. And the fourth week, we finish and we reach our goal. And the objective is to help those that are involved with strategies, ideas, methods, insights as to what you can do to be more successful and to get more than you want. So we had a big weekend this weekend with Master Day and the new ownership and the new CEO, Luis Kasuga, which is very nice. And congratulations to him. And we also had some great winners of the ambassador program that are going to represent Nikon through 2025. Very exciting for those five winners. And I'm I'm jealous of the fact that you're going to go on a luxury trip that I'm not, but that's okay. I'll let you guys go out of this one. Congratulations, and looking forward to your inspiration, insights, and building a fabulous business. Okay, so with that being said, so this is the third week of the month. This is the 20th. There's 11 days left starting tomorrow to reach your goal. And at this time of the month, typically, the focus would be, you've had your first week, you set the goal, you start the engines running, you're moving toward it. You went halfway through the month, you kind of figured out what was working, what wasn't working, and now you're going to tweak the goal and really look at what do you need to do to finish so that you reach the goal by the end of the month. Now, most of you have listened or heard me, have seen a video, watched, done trainings, whatever the case may be. And my focus is really a business focus. And by statistic and experience, the growth of Nikon was always led by distributors. And so the more distributors there were, the bigger Nikon got. The more distributors there were, the more customers there were. And so it really makes sense in the sense if you really understand how this works, it's easy to apply what you do and focus on those. I've got a topic that I would like to talk about tonight and to help you in that regard. But first off, Sharilla, you've got your hand up, and I know you got a question, so you're going to let you go with that question.
Thank you. Okay, so my focus is trying to find people that are looking to make extra money, to make more money, to bring more money into their household, to create another stream of income. Okay,
Yeah.
so all right. So when I started Nikon, I started with the products. Somebody came up to me, she said some things to me. I was interested. I went further with it. So I started with the products. So that's how I became a part of knowing about Nikon in the Nikon know. So I'm thinking that so say I'm talking to a young lady, she has a son, she's looking to make extra money. So I'm thinking can I talk to her in terms of being able to sign up with Nikon and then using her personal web page and things of that nature to generate her money
Are
without
you
her
asking me
having
if you
using.
can do that?
Well, I'm asking, what do you think about it? Because I know she's interested in making money. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, Nikon we do have our personal web page, so we are able to use that. Now, can somebody come in the door, pay the money to become a Nikon consultant, and then start selling product the next day?
Yeah,
without
absolutely.
having used it?
I mean, that nothing says that they can't,
Okay,
and really there is no such thing as failure. There's just simply not doing enough work or not focused in the right direction. But there's a couple things, as you said there, that are very important, Shrill, and the first is to understand the concept of workability. And the second is to understand what you're going to say or what you need to say in order to fulfill or answer the questions that you're talking about. Now, for forever and a day, this has been second nature that what I understood was that the key to my success that I had and other very successful people was to find out what other people needed and wanted and then give them that, deliver that aspect. So if I was going to look for people that wanted to make money, then what I would want to make sure I understood was how you do it.
right.
So see the question the question is like, okay, so if I want, my favorite line would you be interested in making an extra 5, 10, $15,000 a month, depending on the conversation that preceded that and the qualifications that went on and the person that I was talking to. And the reason I was willing to ask the question is because I knew how to answer it if they said yes.
Mm-hmm.
I also knew how to answer it if they said no.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't looking for the no's, I was looking for the yeses. So, again, a lot of corporate training, a lot of cold calling, knocking on doors, and sales and marketing, you have to understand it's a numbers proposition.
Right.
And you just got to do lots of it and lots of it. Now, let's work it backwards for a second and look at all the people that are on this call. Why are they on this call? Well, they're on the call because there's something about Nikon they like. There's something about the products they like. There's something about the business they like. There's something about the social aspect they like. Now, if we interviewed each one of us on this call tonight, probably most of the stories are going to be completely different. And that was the key, was that it's not a rote procedure to get this done. It's a strategy of activities.
Right.
So it's like we all watch movies. We all watch sitcoms. We all watch all kinds of stuff on TV. Now, those that, you go to England and you watch the movies and the television shows in England versus the United States, the actors in England are way more polished as actors than they are in the United States. So I don't know, maybe the school of acting in Britain is much better, but they can really act. So you really believe that they are. They're not standing there posing, "Oh, look at me. I'm Mr. Nice Guy. I'm Mr. Good." That's what America does for
Mm.
some reason, but in the UK they do it a little bit differently. So, but here's the question. Do you think that they practice their brains out to learn their lines so they could speak the part and really be it versus having to, oh, what am I supposed to say? Oh, well, he asked me that. Well, I don't know what to do. Oh, well, let me see if I can get you an answer for that. Well, let's Google that on the internet, or let me put let me, it's the fumble stuff. So I remember when I first started in Nikon in 1990. It was the fall of 1990, and again, I had 13 years of experience in network marketing, in direct sales, in selling, in owning my own business. So there was a number of things that I had to figure out. The first was, what was my objective? What was my goal? Where was I headed? What was I trying to accomplish? And you know my story. I needed to make $8,000 a month. That was the necessity level. I had a family to take care of. I had to put food on the table. So what I was interested in, and this is really directed to you, Sherrill, was I was interested, okay, so you come and tell me you got this thing that's the neatest thing since sliced toast. Okay, great. How do I make it work? You have your experience, you have your emotional fix on it, you have your time frame that you've been involved, but I'm brand new. I've never seen this before, don't know anything about it, and see social media and I see all kinds of negative stuff all day long. So you got to show me and tell me how this works for me.
Right.
That was the key. So the question would be, so if I said, well, would you be interested in making $5,000 a month? And you said yes, then I want to diagram that out, demonstrate it, show you everything I can possibly show you
Right.
so that you gain an understanding of the concept, the idea, and how it works. Because it all boils down to application.
Right. But
All
one
we
could
do is apply.
but one could come in, uh, sign up to become one of Niken's distributors, use their personal web page to sell product and
Yeah,
make their percentage.
sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, but here's what you got to look at. How effective is that person going to be if they don't know what to say, they don't know
Right.
have any knowledge
Well, that
about the
will
products?
that has to precede all of that.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
in order for you to set somebody loose, they
Yeah,
have to know exactly what they need to say and the activities they need to do in order to get what it is they want, not what
there you
I
go.
want, what they want.
Now, here's another interesting thing that you want to make a note of it. Want precedes why.
Okay.
Now, so on the Smart Networker, I put out, I think a week or so, a thing called it was an essay on organization. And basically what it is it's a chart that if you want to take any enterprise, anything, and go from nothing to wherever, that's what you do. So you start off with the goal, and that's the objective, and the goal is what you want. And the reason why you have that goal is because you have purposes that you're trying to accomplish. So I'll use myself. So when I got involved, my goal was $8,000 a month. It wasn't to make the $8,000 a month. That was the goal. The objective was the purpose was to put food on the table for the family, was to
Mm,
pay the bills. So
right.
the purpose is the sub goals. In other words, you do any activity, then below that activity are why are you doing that activity in the first place? And I think what's really important is when you're dealing with new people, they may not have the same understanding right away, immediately, about how you feel about what you're doing. And what you have to do is work on establishing that for them so that they can make their mind because it's their deal.
Right.
You can't spend my money, I can't spend your money, and we can't spend Luis's newfound money because that's his. It's not
Right.
yours, it's not mine, it's his. So when we look at new people, what's the problem? What are they trying to solve? What's the issue? And again,
Right.
necessity is the mother of invention. So the more the necessity, the greater the need, the stronger the drive, the more commitment.
Right.
This has been
Yes.
laid in stone for tens of thousands of years. This is the way we work. So in the sense of moving forward, so you got to have the goal. The goal then is the why you're doing it is the thing that you're going after to in order to pay the bills, live life, help people, whatever. And therefore there is your why. It's to get your goal. You see, I don't know how this has got asked backwards, but it has because you can't have a why without understanding what you want first.
What you want. Correct.
And
Okay.
so
I
you
understand.
establish that. Now, the next thing is that you have to have policy that you operate by.
Right.
Now, here's the challenge with network marketing is that you work from home. And unless you're a really organized, disciplined person, you get sidetracked real easy. So you have to create some rules and regulations to play the game. And there's only one reason why. And that is because this isn't easy. This is like anything else. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes skill, it takes knowledge, it takes persistence. You have to fight barriers, you have to climb mountains, you have to overcome obstacles. if you want to become successful doing this business. Now, if you don't want that, then there's other routes that you can take within this opportunity. The social aspect, the laissez-faire, sell products every once in a while just because you like it. You don't have to do it. But again, the purpose for the aligning with success was because you really wanted to make it in business and figure out how to make that work. So you set some policies, some rules, some regulations, some understanding, and what what you got to give this some time. So Rome wasn't built in a day, and Nikan business is not going to be built overnight, And then again, what we really want to get away from are the exceptions to the rule, because not everybody's an exception. And again, we have to cater to that because again, here's one of the things I learned, and this came, I think, from I've been doing a lot of podcasts lately, and some of the things I've been saying, well, that was so and so said that, and I said, well, I never read his book, but okay, great. And your success comes about by helping others. Well, many people have said that, but it was true. I mean, just as a prime example, Julie was in my business. She did $287 million worth of business in 27 years. She did that. I just really want you to understand that. She did that, but I got paid. So now she got paid also, and so did many other people, and so on and so forth. But if you really understand that your success comes about by educating, helping build somebody else's business, that's the beauty of network marketing. See, this is so unique. This is so different than any other business out there. There's nothing to compare to what we have as an opportunity. But here's the challenge and here's the problem. Some really bad people took advantage of this concept and screwed it up for the majority of people by trying to cheat, steal, manipulate, and overpower those that were weak and couldn't think for themselves, and took advantage of them and loaded up their garage with tens of thousands of dollars worth of product and didn't help them, didn't support them. And then they went to the authorities and they complained to the authorities, and the authority says network marketing is bad. Not network marketing is bad, it's people that are bad. It's just like anything else in life. It's the people that make it bad. The idea itself is a brilliant idea if you really understand how it works. And what it can do for you is amazing. I did this podcast maybe 6 weeks ago, and the guys behind the podcast were realtors. And it's posted on the Smart Networker, and it's posted in a couple areas. You can listen to it. And the bottom line, he says, well, Dave, we're a network marketing company too. Real estate. That's all we do. We do the exact same things as you do. And I said, I know. See, because here's the bottom line. We are a business just like Ford Motor Company. We have a product that needs to be marketed to the public. Now, your job, if you so take it, this is mission impossible now, is to understand how it works so that you can make it work. And if you keep trying to stick the square peg in the round hole, it don't fit. So what you have to understand is, how do you get that square peg in? What hole do you have to put it in to make it fit and make it work? And there are some basic principles. So once you have your rules and your policy and your procedure, the next thing is you got to have your overall general plan. So one of the things that, again, in our business, we have the Nikan compensation plan. So in the Nikan compensation plan, you've got a bunch of directives, positions, ranks that you can achieve anywhere from direct all the way to Royal Diamond. And if you get with a mentor, and here's the word of advice, all of you should have a personal mentor that you work with in order to build this business. I don't care who you are. This is dead serious, because here's the thing. You want to be able to call somebody when you're down, and you want to be able to call somebody when you're up, and you want to be able to strategize, and you want somebody to jack you up so that you're going to go out there and do what you have to do to get the job done. Plain and simple. By yourself, you'll make excuses and you'll sit there and say, well, it's cold today. Oh, it's rainy today. Oh, nobody wants to talk to me today. Oh, I don't feel like I want to do anything today. Oh, who wants this product in the first place? Oh, nobody wants to talk to me. Do you understand what you do? Murphy sits on your shoulder and he does that to you all day long. So you need to have somebody that you talk to that'll kick you in the behind and say, get out of that crap and let's get going and let's get motivated. Let's get excited and let's go. Because here's why. When the person on the other end hears that, that's what turns their crank. Understand this. That's what turns their crank. What they're looking at, and again, I did some research on this, what people are looking for on the internet, Google search it. They're looking for opportunity. They're looking for niches. They're looking for key things. They're looking for something to sink their teeth into. Why? Because 94% of the working population needs to make a living. That's why. They need to put food on the table. They need to put a roof over their head. They need to pay for the bills, pay for the cars, pay for the insurance. We watched an election cycle, said we're at 50% of the population screaming to make money because the economy is not doing well. Reduce the price of eggs, reduce the price of gas. Well, why don't you change that tune instead of reduce it? Why don't you just go make more money? Let's go flourish and prosper. See, there's two ways you can look at this. You can succumb to the negativity or you can override it and become positive. I mean, it's really a simple twist, but you need somebody to help you do that. So get a mentor. Okay. So you have the plan. So the plan is you figure out with your mentor what aspect of the plan equals your goal. So if you want to make $10,000 a month in this business, then you got to go Royal Diamond. Plain and simple. No question about it. That's the way it is today. That's the CV. That's how it is. It's pretty much there. As a Royal Diamond, I know it. I see it. That's what you got to do. So therefore, the plan is for you to get into Nikken and go from the bottom and go to Royal Diamond. And that's pretty simple. Don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure this one out, but that's what you do. So then we got on to now, here's the meat and potatoes, the program. So I watched this show on in between football games, I think, and it was about Disney building the new Disney ship. This ship that Disney built took 5 years to build. They have a whole on Disney. They have a whole documentary of all the stuff they went into building this. All the people, there were tens of thousands of people that were involved in building the ship, and all. I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. But here's what they had. They had a program of how they put piece to piece together. A plus B plus C plus D plus E. See, again, what we do is really simple. We have, and again, I'll get to the bottom line here with this, but what we do is we do one of two things. We sell products or we find distributors. We really don't do anything else if we're trying to make some money. Now, if we're not trying to make money, then number one, this call is not about that. This is not a social call. This is a business call. So therefore, then you would shift gears and do something else. So the step-by-step is then what do you need to do? Well, man, there's a gazillion videos that have been produced of how to do this. I've got a whole new series on it of this, all the things that you need to do. It's really simple. It's not that difficult. But here's the key. You have to understand what you can do. I mean, really, that's the key. So now you get a program going, you get all the steps listed out. I'm going to talk to 5 people a day. I'm going to mail out brochures. I'm going to get a funnel. I'm going to get a web page. I'm going to do some advertising. I'm going to do some Google ads. I'm going to go do a seminar at a college. I'm going to go stand on the street corner and stand on my head and spit wooden nickels to attract attention. You do whatever it is that you need to do to attract attention. Why? Well, that's the only way it works. See, if you don't attract attention, nobody's just going to come up to you and say, hey, here I am. I'm ready to buy all the products and become a Royal Diamond. Woohoo! Come and get me. It just doesn't happen. I mean, seriously, of all the, I've seen it all. I've traveled the world with Nikan. I've seen every country opened, every blah blah blah. It never happened. It only happened when somebody reached out and promoted to somebody else. Now, here's the fascinating thing about that. 38% of the American population has a side hustle. So what do you think 38% or more are thinking about all the time? How to make money, how to pay the bills, how to send their kids to college, how to retire, how to go on a vacation, how to get that car, how to take care of themselves, how to go to church, how to support their organization, how to help other people. Our church had over 1,000 people in LA as volunteer ministers helping with that fire. So you understand? So that's where people are at that do what is important to them to make sure that they're getting what they want. So you do your program, you lay out the steps, there's projects that need to be done. You got to maybe do a humans being more, or you go on a retreat, or you do a training program, or, you know, now I'm going to say this with the training programs, try and stay within Nikan, go with the people that have built it, because all you're going to get outside of this, and I've done them all, is ideas about what they did, not related to what we do. And it's really important. If you want to make it in Nikan, then you want a mentor that's built Nikan. It's just plain and simple. It's how it works. If you're a heart surgeon, you don't go to a bone cracker to learn how to be a heart surgeon. You go to a heart surgeon. You go to somebody that's already done this. Because why? Because they can lead you down the right roads all the time. If you listen to all the training that's out there, it's all the same, it's all generic, and it's all, promote, talk, all this sort of stuff. And it's not specific to what we do. So that's just another little tip. Projects. Orders. Here's the next thing you got to do. You got to tell yourself to go to work. Just like if you have juniors underneath you, just like if you have distributors underneath them, you got to tell them to go to work. Because nothing does get done unless we do the activities, kind of a thing. Now, here's the neat one. We do this, and it's going to make it a little bit more dramatic here. It's called your ideal scene. See, your ideal scene, or your, what do we call it, Nikan, your life cycle, should be a picture of what your goal is. And your goal should be what you're doing. See, again, from the standpoint of, you want a beautiful house and you want to live on a ranch and you want cows and pigs and chickens and horses and you want to live that life. Well, how are you going to get there? You have to build a business that's going to get you there. So your goal, your ideal scene is the business that's sticking out enough dough-ready so that you can go buy that stuff. See, it's really simple. It's not difficult. It's really simple. So you got to create that ideal. So if you're going to go Royal Diamond, I had in my garage my organization drawn out over 3 different walls. My office was in my garage. I emptied out my garage and I put a carpet down and a desk down, and there was my office in the middle of my garage. But I got to see my entire organization. Now, what was really fascinating, I got to see where there was no production. And that gave me the ability to work there. So therefore, you got to keep statistics. And all statistics are is measurements of production, what works and what doesn't work. And here's the final piece. And all of this is in this article. You can get it on the Smart Networker, so you don't have to worry about taking notes. But what are you producing? What is your valuable final product? Now, this took me a long time to get. It took me a long time to figure it out. But in the end, it was what I was producing was viable, successful, independent distributors. So if I was recruiting you, and let's say Nancy came to me and she said, Dave, I really like what you're saying. I want to build this business. And so what my job is to make Nancy, or help get Nancy to become successful. If she's willing to do the work, then that makes it easier. But that's where the job is. So my true end result doesn't occur until she's made it. And I learned this from an investor who was dealing with the public. And he had a rule of thumb that said if he got people involved with an investment, he wouldn't take any profits till they got paid back. Do you think he attracted a lot of people to his investments? All the time, made nothing but money. So from the standpoint of, I made tens of millions of dollars doing this business. And I did that because I helped tens of thousands of people become as successful as they want. I had thousands of people in the leadership role of silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and royal diamond. And I couldn't have got to where I got to without having that focus and helping them realize what they wanted. So the product that I was after was to make that individuals as successful as I possibly could. And that gave me that ability to move forward. Now, you take all of these things. So the goal is to make $8,000. That was my goal. The purpose was so I could put food on the table. The policy that I was going to operate on was to work my tail off until I got the job done. The overall plan was to go from the bottom to the top of the compensation plan. The program was step by step. I had laid it out every day: get up, go to work, talk to as many people as I could, make as many presentations as I could, go to weekly trainings, go to every event, all of those kind of things, be on all the meetings. The projects was go to trainings, learn, read, do books, travel, all of that kind of stuff. And the statistics I kept were the number of people I signed up, the volume that was created, the income that was generated, and the number of people that moved from rank to rank to rank to rank. And I just kept monitoring those activities over and again, over and again, over and again, over and again. And what did I produce? Valuable final products of successful independent distributors. Now, you might ask this question, well, did everybody make it? Nope, they didn't. And there was a reason for that. And the only reason, there is no such thing as failure, by the way. All there is, you see, here's what failure is. It's an agreement that you didn't do what you should have done. So therefore, you can justify that you didn't do the work by saying that there was failure. Just failure doesn't exist. Just look at it for what it is. What is failure? So you set out to do the goal and you didn't make the goal and you say that was failure. No, it wasn't. You set out to do the goal, but you didn't do what you had to do. So you just haven't done enough work. You see, you got to change the mindset here from there is no such thing as failure. All there is results. So you create results. If the results aren't what you like, then you tweak to do more of what you want to get to where you want to get to. All right. So the moving forward, and this is a great time for this because I just did this myself. And I went over what was my goal, what's the purpose, what policy I'm going to operate on, what's the overall plan that I'm going to utilize, what are the step-by-step aspects of the program, what projects do I need to complete to get my job done, what orders do I have to give myself and others that are involved, what's the ideal scene? What does it look like when it's all done? I mean, where am I striving for? It's like you want to build a home on a piece of land that you own, and you got this idea of a house, and you go to the architect, and you say, I want this 3-bedroom house, and he draws you this picture. And you get to look at the picture of this house, and it's fabulous. It's just absolutely fabulous what this house looks like. But what do you got to do? You got to have plans. You got to get somebody to build it. You got to do the work, and it's going to take a little bit of time. But if you have that picture that you're looking at, then it inspires you to see what you've done and what you need to do to get to where you want to get to. I mean, it's invaluable. And then again, one of the things that this was an early lesson. I had guys in my organization go silver because we had this concept, just go make a mess when you're going silver. And I didn't understand that. To me, what do you mean go make a mess? Well, go talk to as many people as you can, get many people on the product, recruit your people, all that sort of stuff, and so on and so forth. I'll get to you shortly, Madeline. And so then people would go out, they'd go silver, they'd make a mess. But here's what they didn't know. Couldn't remember what they did. Now, the key to you going silver is to document everything you do so you can take that and pass that on. It's called the master apprentice. Master apprentice. So the carpenter who becomes the master teaches the apprentice what to do so that the apprentice can become the master. So if you go out and do something and you don't keep a record of what you did, you don't know how you can do it, and you can't pass that on, what good was that? Because that's not how network marketing works. You see, network marketing works is when you build an organization many levels below you that are building a successful business and are successful in themselves, and your benefit is to get a little piece of what they do because you help them become successful. And then again, that's the valuable final product. You don't miss the boat on this one. Understand what you're producing. Now, we produce two things: happy clients and distributors. But in all of Nikon's track record, all of its success, it gained more customers by selling distributorships. So I really want you to understand that, because each person that comes in has a warm market, and we are a warm market business. We really are a warm market business. All you need is 3 or 4 good people yourself, and you can get that from your warm market for the most part. I did. I only sponsored 15 people in Nikon. I didn't sponsor an army, but I took each person I sponsored and built them as deep as I could possibly build them. And some legs were 25 generations deep. And that created security. So there again, it's it's kind of like if they're looking at the houses that burnt down in Los Angeles, and they're seeing that the houses that were made of stone and concrete and had the right roofs on them didn't burn, where the ones that were made of sticks and wood burnt like crazy. So it's a matter of understanding how it works under all circumstances. When you put the right knowledge together, then you can win big time. This isn't hard. This is really easy. Anyway, so this is the 3rd week. So now what you've got in the month, you got your 3rd week. Your objective is to push to reach the target that you set for the month and go all out. And then next week is the 4th and the final week. So now you got 2 weeks, 11 days to get your job done. We're having a really good month this month because of the specials that are putting on. So it's a great opportunity to grow on that. But one of the things that I also learned was not only do you have to work on now, you have to work on the future. So the things that you have to do play into your future. So you want to make sure that the actions that you're doing. So if you're recruiting somebody this month, you're thinking about how they're going to play out and get to Royal Diamond. That's your future, because they do Royal Diamond, they do 300,000 points a month, and you're making 6% of the CV on that, which is, I don't know what, say 60%, 180,000 times 6%. What figure is that? You got the idea. That's a residual income. That's how it works. So if you want that residual income, then you got to understand where it comes from. And if you have to keep doing it month in, month out, month in, month out, month in, month out, that's not residual. That's just redoing the game every single month. And the beauty of what we have here is that it just keeps perpetuating. Anyway, that's enough for the education piece, and it's a very important piece. Go to Smart Networker on WhatsApp, and the documents there, plus a number of other documents that you'll find very interesting and helpful to help you build your business. Now, Madeline, you got your hand up.
Yeah, was just going to ask about if you would ask to see if there's someone else. Cheryl gave her request, and where we are is needing more silvers and wanting it. You're talking about all these levels deep of all whatever, so that building block. And then talking to Michelle. Michelle's back because of her interest to relaunch, and Sue and Bob are here. They're our new ambassadors. And then we have a very eloquent Dr. Karen Willens and Paul. These are people that have been speaking up here about the next level. So I wonder if anybody is working on their silver run with what they're doing, and if they might share questions or ask, and then maybe you could help around that. That's what I was going to recommend. Another person speaking up like Cheryl did.
Yeah. Just to add on to that point, Madeline, with regard to a concept. So if we understand that the future benefit comes from the success of an individual, then the key is to make an individual successful. And the way the compensation plan works is it starts at direct, goes to senior, goes to exec, goes to silver, goes to gold, goes to platinum, goes to diamond, goes to royal diamond. Now, the way I built the business may be a little bit different. And what I was taught by my master was build one leg at a time. So you find somebody that wants to play, then help them play.
Well, all last year, as Louise said, there haven't been that many new silvers or rank advancements. So we can just start right there. Maybe just talk about that basic building unit of silver.
Last year's over. We're now in present time.
No,
And
no,
we're
no.
looking at the future. So what we want to
That's it.
understand is how to play the game.
Right.
So find one person that wants to play. Then do everything possible that you can do. Understand you can make this happen because it's what you do to help that person. So you get them to senior, you get them to executive, you get them to silver, you help them go to gold, you help them go to platinum, you help them go to diamond, and there's your future. So one of the things that I've heard so many times is people sign up other distributors and then well, I was guilty of this myself. I'd go to big conventions, 8, 6, 10, 12,000 people at the convention. I'd speak, and at the end of my speech, I'd say, well, if you need my help, give me a call. Here's my phone number, 617-388-9109. Now, people didn't call. And I was like, why don't they call? Well, there's a number of reasons why. After the research was done, they were afraid. They didn't know what to ask. They didn't know how to think about what they were doing. They thought I was too busy, but the main reason is they didn't know what to do. So I learned a valuable lesson. Just do. Direct traffic. Show them. Here's what you want. Understand that if somebody wants what you're offering, then you can direct traffic. It's real easy. So if you go to somebody and they say, well, listen, I'm interested in making $2,000 a month. Let's show them how. Help them get there. And guess what you have when you've got that done? You got the best story in the world. There isn't a greater story than, well, I just did this with so-and-so, and this is what they got. They'll squawk like there's no tomorrow. They'll tell any story you want to tell them, and you'll be your best friend for the rest of your life, and they'll continue to grow if you keep growing it. So that would be the advice on the silver part. So, but I'd love to hear from anybody else. And again, the thing, you raise your hand, and that's how we do it. And who's got goals that they're going to reach this month, and how are they tweaking them, and what advice would they like?
Oh, hi, Dave. It's Paul.
Hi, Paul.
So, yeah, my goal is 5,000 PGV this month.
Okay.
I'm nowhere near it,
Yep.
but I'm at the point where I'm looking for new people, and I guess so. I talked to somebody a couple of days ago and sent a tool. It was just this Kiyosaki tool about the 4 quadrants, and so I asked, are you interested in joining the other side, the B and the I? And I didn't know how he would respond, but that seemed like very big to this person. So I don't have that. I don't know this person well. I see him he serves food at a lunch counter, but he does like to talk. So I just didn't start off like, oh yeah, I've talked to you for 2 minutes, and blah blah blah. Do you want to make 5,000 a month or something like that? It was longer than that, but what I'm finding is that given the restricted range that I have in terms of interactions, he wants to hear more. So I'm having to determine what is the next tool I'm going to use. And I think there's a, and I've determined that I have to keep these things short. So if I can send something that's 2 minutes, and I see him every day, so I can have, well, what did you think of that one? So I think I'm going to go the other, we have a tool that discusses the Nikken community.
Can I tweak
Um,
something with you, Paul?
yeah, please. This is what this is
Oh,
for.
okay.
Yeah.
So rather than you asking him what he thinks, why don't you find out what's really important to him and what he wants? It's a
Yeah.
totally different. In other words, what quick story, but I was in the investment arena and I was looking for clients to invest money, and most people, kind of said they wouldn't, but it was I had to go through a lot of people to get that guy that would invest the money and spend what it was. So what's really important here is you want to get to the chase. You got to cut to the chase as quickly as possible. And again, we have an industry that's fraught with some challenges, and we've got to overcome those challenges. So if you can find somebody that's interested in making what you want to make, the 5,000, then you have the discussion with him. You show him how it works. Don't rely on somebody else to do it. Don't send him a video, and I think you know how to do that. And then
Yeah.
so the other thing is I tweaked the video that you did on the 2021 convention to make it shorter. That I posted that. It's on YouTube, so hope that works for you and as well.
Yeah. Well, there are people who, you say, oh, I've got 3, 4 months off, my wife and I, and there are a lot of people who seem to be, they don't, at least on the surface, they don't tell you what they want.
You got to ask
Uh,
them. You got to
yeah,
ask them.
yeah, and you have to find the space to do it, and it's,
Yeah,
you
because
know,
see, here's what's really important for you, Paul. If you don't get what you want, then you don't get what you want.
well, right. I
So
mean,
you can't let everybody who doesn't want to do this waste your time. You've got to
yes,
sift
right.
through them as quickly as possible to find those that want to play. That's
Yeah.
that. It's
So
kind of like the dating process.
is
Does
the
it work the
idea,
same
well,
way?
if they don't want the business, maybe they'll want the product or something, and I can
Yeah,
sort of tweak that through without spending too much time on it.
yeah. And then the other thing, what you first said about wanting to do the 5,000 PGV, how much PGV do you do now?
Oh, I always do two,
Okay,
always
so
two,
figure out what you
always.
did to do the two, and then multiply the activities the 2.5 times to get to five, and there's your answer. Quick there. I'll leave it
Yeah.
there, and Michelle's going to come on the line next. So yes, Michelle, go ahead.
First, first of all, thank you so much. My goal is $10,000 by December 15th. I've
Okay.
talked to Mike. We've got a plan together for 21 clubs by November, by the end of November, personal 21 clubs. And then I'm promoting the 21 clubs.
Okay, great. Now, here's what I would like you to do, just from my perspective. I want you to draw a picture of what $10,000 a month looks like. Now, I mean a picture of how many distributors, how many silvers, how many
organization.
golds, how many
Yeah.
platinums, how many directs, how many executives, what kind of volume, who's doing what, where, and why. And then with that picture, then created a blank slate with all the circles, and then you start sticking in people in the circles. And I think that'll now, whether you do 21 clubs or not, whether you do coffee shops or not, those are the activities. That's part of your program.
Mm-hmm.
But the first thing you got to do is really understand what your goal is, what it looks like. You got to be motivated behind it, what the structure, because the advantage we have is structure. So you could have two legs easily just build those two legs down 6 levels in deep, go Royal Diamond, make your $10,000 a month and be fine.
Thank you. And that is my next job.
There you go.
Um,
Go
this
to the
was
Smart Networker and read the documents, all laid out step by step what you got to do. It's really simple to follow. It's a lengthy document, but you can tweak it and use it as much as you want.
Mhm. This is a decision that I made at the beginning of the month,
Great.
and I've come a long way since then. What keeps me strong is the visualization, is to be able to see it.
Yes.
And for a long time, I couldn't.
Oh, good
I
for
can
you.
now. It's so crystal clear that there is no doubt at all.
Yeah. And there is no doubt, no doubt at all. So well done on you for making that decision.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who's next? Yes, Jeannie.
Trying to find my raised hand. I was just going to go. What I've been doing is asking 4 people a day through text in my warm market to take a look at the quiz, to take the quiz on our page. And then I get the result. And I've had 3 that their result was a way to begin talking to them. Their issue or I forgot what they call it, is financial. And one of them is a niece of mine, of my husband's and mine. And so I invited her to come tomorrow night to Balanced Life, Happy Life. She said, I don't know exactly everything about what you're saying, but she goes, I know a little bit about just hanging out with you guys, kind of what it is. So I said, would you have time to come on a Zoom? She goes, yeah. So I invited her for tomorrow night.
Well, awesome.
And
Now,
so we'll see how that pans out from there.
okay,
And
so I'm
I
gonna,
said, if this looks interesting to you, then we have a product night the next night.
yeah.
If you're interested in earning income, we have a Thursday night. See how that develops.
Okay, so I'm going to add to this for you, Jeannie, and everybody else's benefit that when I was building the business and I was talking to somebody and they gave me the high sign that they were possibly interested, then I sat down with them. That was the first action I did. So, in other words, I sat down with them so I could control the conversation. I had my binder with all the tools in it. I had my maps. I had my examples. I had my incomes. I had everything that would answer their questions that I knew wouldn't come up in a presentation. And here's why I'm saying this. The number one reason for lack of success is misunderstood words.
Sure.
It's the number one reason. So when people go to these meetings unprepared, they pick up a whole bunch of words and terms that mean nothing to them because they have no conceptual understanding of the term or the use. So I know Michelle was in banking and she could get on here and she'd make us all spin with the terms that she could use that they use in the banking industry that most normal people aren't accustomed to. You being in the swap meet business would probably do the same thing. And so what I learned real quickly was I have to find out what they know and what they don't know. So I want to do that with my own conversation first so that I can prepare them for a presentation so that this is what you want to look for. But they know everything ahead of time, you see, so they're not, this isn't you got to do that. You got to set the stage. You got to get in there and say, okay, let's sit down, let's have a coffee, let's meet. This is great. Let's do a Zoom call. And so that's where you have to have your story, what I call your act one dialed in. Because that's who you are if you want to build a business. Your job is to sell your business to somebody else so they get excited to want to join you in the business. And here's what most important thing they want to know. How does it work? What do I have to do? How do I get
Absolutely.
what I want to get from it? And if you don't answer those questions, then here's what your mind will do. Huh.
Mhm.
Well, I wonder if I have to sell all my friends, because I heard on the internet if you that
Sure.
you sell all your friends, you get rejected. And I don't like being rejected, so I don't know if I'm going to do this. I don't want to do that. No. And they're sitting there, they're not telling you this, but
Mhm.
that's what's going on in their head, their universe, their mind. So nip it in the bud as quickly as possible. So anybody that says they're interested, you sit down with them. You
Okay.
give them all the details. You tell them
I'll
everything there
have a
is to
Zoom
know
with
about
them.
it. You show
Yeah.
the map. You say, okay, you want to make 5,000? This is exactly what we're going to do. And I'm going to help you do this. This is what I'm going to do. This is what you're going to do. And you create that agreement. Now, here's the other thing I found. Agreement creates reality. When you don't have agreement, there is no reality. And if you don't create reality and you don't communicate and you don't like each other, then there's no understanding. So your job is to create that, get that communication, find out what they need and want, make sure they understand what it is, communicate, draw pictures, movies, whatever,
Mhm.
and then, go in for the rest of the business. Okay? That work
Perfect.
for
Thank
you?
you. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? We got time for one more.
Did you record tonight, Dave?
Yeah,
Thanks.
I did. I did just a wrap up. I did a brilliant podcast with these podcasts are awesome because what it's giving me an opportunity is to create credibility about network marketing to guys that don't know anything about it. And they post thousands and tens of thousands, so we get to record it, you get to use it, and we get to validate the concept of what it is, because that's the biggest thing is where people have the hardest trouble. Don't believe it. All right, anybody else? No, we're all good. Okay, yes, Paula.
Your podcast, do you list them on the Smart Networker?
Yeah. As soon as
On
what
the
we do is we
WhatsApp?
record them, and then they do all the editing, and then it's a delayed process by 60, 90 days. And when they air them is when I put them on the Smart Network.
Okay.
And there's one on with the funnel that I created on the business opportunity. They're all on the funnel. So it's smartfunnelpage.com, and then you go to that, you'll see them all there. All right, guys. Well, listen, if you need any help, you need any assistance, you want to hook up, you want to talk, you want to, clear whatever, you know how to reach me. Michael's the same way. And that's why we're here, so that you can get the information you need, because that's why you're here, so that you can become successful and get what you want as a result of being involved. And I think those are important, worthy goals.